recording now. Okay, are we all ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay, all right. So we will start the interview now. Okay, so greetings everyone who's watching this recording. Currently, we are conducting an interview session for our construction law assignment. As you can see, we have a very special guest here, which is Mr. Foo, and I have my partner here, which is called Howlin. So,
Howling. Oh.
Yeah, I'm calling
Howlin.
Mr. Foo.
Oh, you all 2 person do one project lah.
Yeah, we all do one project. Okay.
Okay.
So before we start our several main questions for you, Mr. Fu, how about you give an introduction of yourself, where you're from, what's your name, and your background, basically.
Okay, my name Fu Sewang. So actually, I'm a graduate from University Malaya in 1986.
Wow.
So currently, I'm a small contractor. So I'm a director also lah of this company. I set up this company lah. The company's name is KPG Padu Setia Berhad. In case you are not very not sure what I told you, later like the company's name, you're not sure, I can later give you later lah. No problem.
Yeah, no problem. You can message me.
Can.
Okay,
Then you ask me about my name, my occupation. I'm basically a contractor lah. Company hobby. I like to play golf lah. And this one also part of my job lah. To sometimes entertain people, entertain my client, my main con, all those things lah.
Okay.
And I like traveling lah. So used to go play golf overseas, which is very fun lah. And I like to watch documentary on traveling and watch those mega civil engineering projects lah. Sometimes in the YouTube you can see a lot of interesting projects. I mean, which we not able to do, but we learn one thing or two lah from them lah. The latest technology, how small we are lah when you look at the mega civil engineering project. Then the latest construction methodology lah and material to use lah. So at the same time, I also like to attend expo lah, like material expo, machinery expo, building latest material or innovation expo lah. And this one is to sometimes I take a lot of catalog back just to go through what are those things that I not aware of. Then what machinery in the market, and also to get what you call that, the context lah. I mean, to build up your library lah, so that in case you need something, then at least you recall or you check through your catalogs. So sometimes your client asking certain peculiar materials, so at least you can find out lah. You can find lah. It's a library lah. So you need a library. I mean, not in the sense of proper library lah. Library in your head lah. So that people when they ask you, you can provide. Then it's a very plus point lah. Just like that only lah.
Okay.
So
basically,
you catch what I say, or not? Are you going like mumbling like that?
No, we understand. We can see that you experience a lot as a civil engineering, and it seems that I can see that you're quite into it in building your categories, especially for your own materials. So actually, that was my second question, which I was about to ask you. How was your experience as a civil engineering? But you did tell partially of yours. Maybe you can tell
Hey,
me.
no, that's the only introduction only.
Yeah, maybe you can tell me. Maybe you can tell me more details. How
About
was your journey when you work as a civil engineering?
about your experience.
Oh, okay. I came out 86. The time was a very bad recession, jobless for 9 months.
Wow.
Even though I come from at the time one of the best university in Malaysia I will call myself dream of the society lah. All my classmates are all genius lah, except not they're rather very people which we hardly see in the school Those people are really intelligent I would say they are intelligent. Then you feel that you are so small when you go to university compared when you're in the high school, all those things. So even though I graduated, I also jobless for 9 months. During the time, I prepare a lot of CV. Hey, whether you're relevant, I'm telling these things to you.
Sorry?
Hello? Is it relevant or not? I tell this story.
Maybe you
Okay.
can go more straightforward when you become
Huh?
a civil. Maybe you can go straightforward when you become a civil engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, I thoroughly enjoy my civil engineering life Uh, I got a lot of satisfaction to be a civil engineer Maybe first thing I got a lot of interest in this civil engineer. I think number one thing you must have interest If you don't have interest then don't be a civil engineer because it comes with very heavy responsibility. So I derive a lot of satisfaction completing a job. In order to complete a job, you have to do a lot of background homework where even though you're working for people or you become your own boss, you are assigned to this job, then you have to do a lot of background homework like how look at the plan, what what are the time frame to finish, what is required from this project, and how you can plan it, what material you need, what machinery you need, how many manpower you need, what support you need from your bosses, all those things to be engineer Then at the same time, you also face a lot of difficulties not especially even though you're working for people, uh, you treat the company like your own company then but the more difficult part is when you are your own boss, where everything you own self have to decide, nobody to fall back to. That is the transition period, become between the employee and become the boss as an engineer the time I was with a civil with a contracting firm all the time. Then after that, after 9 years, I become my own boss Uh,
How do you become your own boss?
how I become my own boss I would rather say how to say people appreciate or people recognize my ability
Oh, okay.
This is what what people see in me lah, because I work for
They
people,
respect you lah.
I work very hard. In fact, when I work for a company, the company like my company like that lah. I never treat it like I'm working for people. I treat it like I'm working for my own self, my own
Right.
company. So I got a lot of dedication, a lot of a lot of I'm very serious about my work lah. People see me. I mean, when you do one thing, people do see lah. Maybe
So
1 year you don't
respect
see,
you
many
lah.
years people see. So people then give you a chance to become a contractor lah. Just like that lah. For me, very simple. People give me the opportunity. It's not that I won't find. I also go and find. People say, "Oh, I got this job. You go. Can you do it?" After almost 9 years, I working for people. I build up all my knowledge, all my contacts. Yeah, I feel so confident. So yeah, I answer yes. And I started with $30,000 capital to do a 1.0 million project.
Okay.
So, yeah. So what else?
I
I
think
mean,
I think should be okay. And
yeah, it's actually I didn't know you were started from very bottom and then you climbed so hard to become your own boss. I can say that it's not easy for you lah. It's really not easy.
it's not say easy or not. If you like the job and you don't care so much, you're not so calculative, you just work. Because whatever you learn is going to be with you forever. So this is very important. I must tell all the fresh graduates or fresh engineer. Don't be calculative, say the boss don't give you leave, or you have to work late night, or you don't have public holidays. Public holiday you have to work. Attitude is very important. So but firstly you must enjoy your job lah. You don't enjoy your job, then don't be a civil engineer lah. Waste of time because you won't go anywhere. You won't go anywhere. You don't want to learn. You don't want to talk to the subcon. If you're willing to talk to the subcon, they'll teach you. At night after work, you go and chit chat with them. Then they're willing to tell you a lot of things which you don't learn in university.
so
They'll plan the job for you tomorrow morning. What material is they want. You have to start ordering, and if you do this way, what problem you get encounter, or they will foresee the problem for you. You talk to them. If you don't talk to them, then you was losing end is yours lah. You are at the losing end, not them. They don't care so much. But you must be very, what do you call it, humble lah. Don't say think you are engineer and they are layman. They are much better than you lah. In terms of construction, site work construction, they are much more experienced.
Okay.
yeah, you got a lot of experience, Mr. Fu.
No lah, not so experienced. I very hands-on lah. So I mix with a lot I mix a lot with the Indonesian workers. So sometimes the Indonesian workers, they can give you brilliant ideas. So you absorb, you take their ideas. Not necessarily from Kapala, all this thing. Indonesian workers also, because they have been working, they know all those tricks, they can give you ideas. So you have to be able to absorb lah.
So
Don't think you are.
sometimes we
Don't
need to
tell.
listen to others.
Yeah. That's very important. That's very important. Because your knowledge is only from school, and you got not many years of experience. Those people accumulated many years of experience already, so they are the one can give you shortcut, and you don't make too much blunders lah. Then they will tell you why you must do this, why must that. Then you cut short. You make your life much more easier lah to execute the job.
Okay.
So another thing is, I don't know lah, because a lot of people, engineer, uh, feel be transferred to outstation. It's a very bad things, but actually it's a good things lah. It make yourself very independent. You become do A to Z lah. For small, even big small companies, same also when you are transfer outstation. So you basically force yourself to be independent, force yourself to do planning, force yourself to think what I'm going to do this week, tomorrow, next month, this sort of things. So you not nobody to fall back to. So you from there you make yourself forced to do the job. But first thing you must like the job lah. If you don't like the job, you quit already. So I stress very particularly on the interest in the job. How difficult is it to meet the deadline, to meet the quality, to meet the budget, all those things. And bosses normally when you're outstation, they leave a lot of things to you lah. So you have to do A to Z lah. Sometimes costing wise lah, meet the suppliers lah, buy materials lah, source for the material, then the boss will approve or not approve, all those things. So you are basically A to Z you have to do lah. So I find this type of experience is very, very good when later on of your life you really appreciate lah what you have gone through lah.
Okay.
So
So apparently you gave us a lot from your experiences. But currently we are moving on to our next question. So before I want to ask you this: in your entire career, can you tell me what is the most accomplishment that you have ever achieved in a project?
say again.
What's the best accomplishment that you ever achieved in a project, in a construction project? The best one
Best one.
that you ever worked with. Can you think of any?
Best one is
A lot of best project.
no.
All his projects are the best.
I would say when I did a job for a Japanese company, I mean Takinaka lah, at the Taman Mida Tesco. I don't know whether you know about this place or not. You see, I'm a very small contractor, but I mean I managed to do the job 3-4 months, very tight schedule. That's I think that's my I'm very proud lah. I've been able to complete the jobs within the time frame and make some money, and also after going through many night works, a lot of personal effort lah. Every day on the side doing like a supervisor lah. You are the boss, you are the supervisor, you are the surveyor, you are the coordinator, you are the one who decide on the design. Sometimes the design was lousy, you change things like that. So I feel I did quite a good job there, even though the drawing by the main con are shit. But we do a lot of proposal to change the drawing in order to suit the site, or based on own initiative.
Oh, okay. So it was quite a challenging project, but you were proud of lah.
It was very, very challenging. Every day you have to minimum 10 hours, until 10 o'clock.
So we respect your persistence. Yeah, you are a person who very
During that time,
persistent.
you basically forget the outside world. You only think of the job only. Morning, I go back, sleep, morning, work, morning, next, after that, sleep, work, sleep for a few months. But after you finish the job, you make some money, then you think, wow, I amazed, I can finish this job.
You will be proud even though the task is very tough. Yeah.
Yeah, rather tough.
Yeah.
And the main con not very helpful type. They don't give you a lot of sufficient drawing, don't give you a lot of support lah.
So
It's
this is
all
something.
your own initiative lah to complete the job lah. You have to chase for the drawing. If you don't have drawing, then they ask you, you also painting. Then because I was rather confident in my technical knowledge lah, so a lot of things I just do. I don't care. Yeah lah. At the end, everything turned out well lah.
Okay. All right. So moving on to our next question. This one is about contracts. So I don't know if you ever encounter one, which I assuming highly you did. So when you negotiate with contracts, especially in contract administration, how do you negotiate with other parties when discussing about the agreements?
Before you sign the contracts, depend on how desperate you want the job lah. Sometimes, especially you are dealing with main con developer, they will tell you all these format are standard lah, JKL format lah. I say not true one. A lot of clauses are biased lah. Like for example, they have the right to terminate the project, and you don't have the right to terminate the project even though they are at fault. So depend whether you are desperate for the job or not. No? You are not desperate, then you tell them thank you or ask them to change. No? You are desperate, then you accept. No? In Malaysian construction industry is like this lah. They are not fair to the subcon one lah.
Oh, okay.
They are definitely not fair to subcon one. Unless the BQ or there is a independent QS, then their contract are more, what you call that, more impartial. You deal directly as a subcon, deal directly with the main con, and the main con also do the QSing themselves. Then you either you take it or leave it lah. I mean, Malaysian construction industry is like this. So, like for example, they supposed to pay you in 2 months, then they drag you to 4 months. By right, you have the right to terminate the contract. But sometimes, most of the time, they don't give you the right to terminate the contract. Sometimes this is what I gone through lah. That's why I wanted to terminate, but I found because I was thinking I was so naive that all the contracts the same. But actually, when later I found no, they are very one-sided. Because I was then desperate for a job lah, and we trust the contract was standard contract lah, so-called standard contract lah. But this is a bad experience I learned.
All right. moving on to our next question. Now this one is about the pandemic days. So during the pandemic, I want you to tell me from your experience. Can you tell me about what are the contractor issues that you have faced during the pandemic? For example, do you face any delay of projects or any other thing that you have experienced?
Delay, obviously delay lah. Client also understanding lah. Most of the client are very understanding lah. So I don't see a lot of contractual issue lah regarding this lah. Rather is stop go type of thing, which the government did a very bad job in enforcing this MC lockdown lah, and apply permits here and there lah. Every time keep on changing those type of things lah. Lucky during the time I wasn't holding a big job lah. So during the time just ask my worker to rest lah, to sleep lah. But at the same time you have to pay them, you have to buy them makan, give them some petty cash so that they can survive through the few months of lockdown, MCO, even MCO, some you face 1, phase 2, phase 3, or sometimes you can work a while, sometimes you cannot, then you have to go for vaccination, those type of things. For small contractor, I also do lah. So this MCO really affect a lot of people lah. I think for those big company where they got the job before the MCO, I think these are the people who suffer the most lah. For me, because I doing not so big job and my client is a Japanese, so a lot of room for discussion lah. I think those contractor who get job from developer, they are the ones who suffer lah. Not me lah.
Understand.
Can you tell me the examples that that all these people have faced during the pandemic? Because you say that from your experience, you say that you still got more room to do your own projects. You got time. You got a little bit of room or freedom to do your own projects. But for example, for all these big companies or people who face a lot of issues during the pandemic, can you tell me an example that from what you see?
Yeah, labor shortage. Workers have to spend a lot of money doing complying to the SOP, and all this money all borne by the subcontractors. These are big money. If you got 100 workers, then all these developer won't. Normally, they don't compensate you. You are the one who are bearing all the costs lah. Because the subcon no choice, because all their money all stuck with the developer. You don't follow, then you don't get money. All those things lah. So I think Malaysia industry, subcon are the one who suffer the most lah, because they got no bargaining power. Because when you first started a job, the first payment you get maybe 4 months later. And you do half year already, all your money stuck already. So whatever the main court tell you, even not fair one, you still have to follow. You still have to try to finish the job at extra cost, which you cannot be claimed, even though it's not your fault. But because your leg already halfway through already, you pull out also, you're going to lose a lot of money. You continue also, hopefully you lose less, things like that. Because during the MCO, a lot of hidden costs, a lot of those cause really unforeseen, and for the workers to go to the job site to work, you have to the efficiency are all down lah. The productivity lah, all down. To bring in materials also difficult. To get the workers to work also difficult because yeah lah, you have to follow SOP or else as enforcement come, you you kena, you have to pay bribes, all those things, eh? So rather bad lah during the time lah. Then keep on flip flopping on the policies or things like that. Eh?
Okay. Before we go to our closing of our interview sessions, this is for my last question. Do you think, in your opinion, do you think the pandemic bring a lot of issues to contract also?
Pandemic bring a lot of issue.
To contract.
I mean, pandemic cause a lot of our labor to leave Malaysia. I mean, to me, the most obvious one is all the Indonesian workers have left Malaysia, and they still cannot come in to Malaysia until now. Indonesian workers are mostly skilled workers. There's another group of workers called Bangladeshi workers lah. Bangladeshi worker, they don't go back. So now market are flooded with Bangladeshi worker, and they are all shitty workers lah. They got no skill, but because of the labor shortage, real bad labor shortage lah. These Bangladeshi, they are very terrible lah. They got no skill at all, but they demand very unreasonably high wages lah. And their productivity compared to Indonesian workers, I would say maybe one Indonesian workers can do 3 to 4 Bangladeshi workers job lah. That's why now a lot of contractors are suffering because of this labor shortage. Even though they know Bangladeshi cannot work, but they still have to pay the Bangladeshi at crazy prices lah, crazy $100 per day, $90 per day, when they are worth only maybe 40 ringgit or 50 ringgit the most lah. And they want overtime, they squeeze the subcontractor. You don't pay me this, I go to another job site, where a lot of people also because no workers, they also take. So everybody chasing for a small pool of workers. So the Bangladeshi very action now lah, very take the opportunity to squeeze the main con or subcon lah, which is very bad for the industry lah. Especially now, the major problem is labor shortage lah, of skilled workers. This I think the pandemic bring for me is the worst after effect lah. For supply chain, all these things not so bad.
For you, Mr. Foo, before we end this interview session, you did
No
mention
problem.
you did mention that for newbies who are willing to work in the construction industry, you say that you must like the job. But do you have any more further tips for people who are, venture into the construction work? Because me and Howlin here are quantity surveyors. Maybe you can tell the fresh graduate what more tips to give them.
What things first thing you to be a civil engineer, you have to be a good civil engineer lah. Or excellent engineer lah. If you are not excellent engineer, then no point lah. You're wasting your time lah. Huh? So in order to be excellent, you have to work very hard for the firm, maybe 10 years to learn as much as possible. Lor. Do a lot of reading, maybe documentary, attend seminar, attend expo, go through case study organized by IEM. I don't know whether you know what is IEM or not. Lah. Institute Engineer Malaysia, sometimes they do organize case study for other people's job, then what problem they encounter. From there, you learn from other people's mistakes, all those things. Lah. Then you for civil engineer, I think quite important, if not the most important, it's very important to be a professional engineer. Don't care whether you are in the contracting line or you are the consultant, because this give you the platform to do things that people will recognize you lah. For example, you find this job is got certain technical issue, then as a professional engineer, you can raise up, or you want to do an alternative proposal, you can sign, or you think the job is too expensive for the client, you can do value engineering, and you can be signed and responsible for it. Lor. So professional engineer, you can get it after a few years of working experience with under a PE. I mean, the detail how to get the PE, I think not important to you. So to me, yeah, you have to do a lot of reading, equip yourself, but must be humble lah. When you propose something or you want to tell people your opinion, then do it subtle way lor. Don't in front of client go and criticize or in a way say the design is wrong, the design not efficient, all those things. I mean, sometimes a human relation also very important. Things like that. So you see, civil engineer actually is a very interesting job lah. I mean, sometimes you say you contribute to the society. True also lah. And civil engineering got so many scope or so many discipline. You can go to geotechnical, you can go to environment, you can go to bridge engineer, you can become a building engineer, or you can be irrigation engineer. We call it hydraulic engineer lah. So many types lah. So depend on what's your interest lah. So it's not really just building. Build highway, you need other type engineer. Build bridges, you need other type engineer. Build steel structure, you need different type engineer. So to do flood mitigation, you need other type engineer. To do environmental impact assessment, you need other type engineer. So depend on what line you want to go through, which interest you want to do lah. Things like that lah.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. So I think that'll be it for our interview session. I really like to thank you, Mr. Fu, for using your time to attend this meeting.
I enjoy this session. Yeah, I very long-winded one.
Even though it's late at night.
No problem.
It's more of storytelling actually.
I cannot be very formal lah.
No worries,
I don't know.
Okay, it's okay. We don't mind.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Mm.
spending your time here, Mr. Foo.
Yeah.
Mm.
As long you're here, we can hear from your experience.
Mm.
It is actually very informative.
Mm.
Yeah, of course, not in a very linguistic way lah, but it is still very informative because we are
Mm.
basically experiencing from your perspective view lor. Because some people tell the on the website or what is different, so we want to hear differently from yours also, and which is good. Yeah.
Actually, what I ask you one question,
Yes.
as a QS, how normally you all deal with civil engineers?
That
Actually, we haven't graduated, Mr. Foo.
You have to start thinking lah.
Good question.
Because you all work as a team, you all work as a team for civil engineer and QS. You all are part of the project team. So obviously, QS will like to make the project as cheap as possible. Uh, meet the client budget lor. But civil engineer is to make the building safe lor. So sometimes they all design lor. So sometimes yeah lah, sometimes you all got conflict here and there lah. Whether this is a BO or not. Uh, so it's not totally the blame of the engineer. It could be the architect's problem, or could be ID designer's problem. So you have to be fair to everybody lah. This is
So
my taking lah. So sometimes they'll clash lah. Sometimes civil engineer and the QS, especially independent QS lah. So everybody want to cover the backside lah.
basically, how do you overcome this conflict, Mr. Foo?
No lah, make friends with QS lah. Huh? I mean everybody is a team. Why you want to quarrel in the team?
Yeah, agree.
You stab his backside or you stab his back lah. One day you stab your back also. So normally you scratch your back, I scratch your back lah. Everybody happy lah.
Yeah.
Especially if you are contractor, you need a lot of help from the QS. When you do a submission or VO, if the QS like you, so you got a lot of leeway to help you. If
So
the contractor,
communication
if the
is
contractor is very not in good term with QS, so QS can do wonders not to pay you lah, or give you a very low rates lah. Sometimes the how the certain view whether you pay you tables or you pay you unit rates or because of very peculiar circumstances. This job cannot be based on unit rate, cannot be day work, it has to be based on lump sum and very urgent and need specialists. So all these things is QS do the assessment.
True.
So everybody help each other lah.
need to have good communication with each other. Basically.
But you also have to answer to the client lah. Then that's how you do it lah. How you convince the client lah.
Mm.
Because normally you have to prepare a report, all those things to substantiate why you do this. Why client definitely ask you.
Mm.
So normally I have a good relationship with the QS lah. Because as a contractor, we never offense QS. QS quite powerful because all the money all with y'all.
That is
But don't abuse it lah, please lah. Don't abuse it lah. And one thing also, uh, as everybody know lah, construction industry is a very corrupted industry lah. But I would say we have to what you call it? Don't overdo lah. Bound to happen lah, but don't overdo lah until it become a big shit lah. Don't always think okay, I want to make money. Get here, get from this guy, get from the guy. Try not to lah, because it's a very good profession lah. I think in Malaysia maybe we got a lot of cases like this lah. Maybe overseas they are not so bad lah. You see Masale QS what they do is they do a lot of recordings. Whatever the client say, whatever the engineer say, whatever the architect say, they record down for their data. At the end of the day, then when they want to claim this, the contractor claim this, claim that, then they are very good in contracts. QS, the most important job is what? To understand the contract, not the taking off. Taking off is the donkey job. But beginning, yes, you have to do the donkey job but you all have to do a lot of study on the contract That's where you can climb up the ladder lah. You don't know contract, you can never climb up for QS especially when you work in a big company You can never climb up. You are not well versed with contract
All right.
All
right. Do you want to say anything more before you left
No
off?
I think I talk too much already. When you free, we can chit chat no problem this is your assignment
Yeah, that's for my assignment But since you have nothing to say already, I think we should end here
Can
thank you once
no
again.
problem.
Thank you once
No
again.
problem. I enjoy every moment of it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for my partner for joining this meeting, and hopefully this video is informative for everyone who watches it. But most
You are
likely
in
they're
what year
gonna watch
already?
storytelling.
You are in what year already?
I'm in year 2 now.
Year 2
Yeah.
That means another 2 more years.
Something, yeah, around there, around 1.5 year or 2 years.
Okay lah. QS is a noble job lah.
Mm.
It